Hi guys, Mrs. Bilby back with you. I just wanted to let you guys know that I received your designs for the mini greenhouses, and day before yesterday when it was really nice I got out in the backyard and I actually constructed those, and I'm going to show you that construction here in just a second. I want to let you know that I really appreciate all of those ideas that you got back to me. So let's get into the construction. All right, we have bed A here, and on bed A we're going to use 1/2-inch PVC, and I stuck it in between the boards of either this bed. I put in 5 of these supports and made a little hoop house out of this bed. This was a student design. And this is a place that catches a lot of wind, so I'm going to use these brackets, and I'm going to attach these pipes to the sides of the bed so that they can't fall under the weight of the wind, the plastic, or the rain that is to come. I'm going to do that on both sides just so they don't pop out of there either. I could tear my plastic up. So it takes just a minute to get these all anchored into place. Next, we're going to roll out the plastic, and we're going to make this bigger than the length of the bed. That way we have enough to hang over either end. And then we'll open it up and stretch it out onto the hoops. And you can see how it hangs over the end there. I'm going to use my stapler and my staples, and I'm going to run some staples right into the side of the bed to hold the plastic in place on this particular side because it's so windy. And then I'm going to close up either end so it's nice and tight. We'll clean these ends up a little bit so we don't get them caught in the lawnmower or the weed whacker. And go down and do it on the other side as well. And this is what's going to help us hold our heat in. I want to make sure it's nice and closed in. I'm going to use my knife and I'm going to cut it for length. I'm going to cut this side a little bit longer in length. And the reason I'm doing that is so that I can create a weight in order to help keep it closed. We'll hang on to that extra plastic, and you can see I can open it up and reach inside. I'm going to use a small board. I'm going to roll it up in the plastic a little bit. That's why we made it a little bit longer on this side. And then I'm going to use my staple gun, and I'm going to staple the plastic around this board, and it will work as a weight to hold the plastic on this side, as well as a handle to open the plastic up with. And I just kind of cleaned up the edges a little bit. Now bed B is different. This is going to be a slanted greenhouse. I'm using 2x4s. I cut those at 3 foot a piece, and I'm going to pre-drill some holes into them so that I can attach them to the side of the bed. So right now I'm putting those holes in the boards, making sure I'm getting them in the right place. Now I'm going to come back with these screws, and I'm going to secure these to the bed side. I want to make sure they're in place nice and snug so that they don't fall over. And there we go. I'm going to put a couple of small boards across the top. This is going to help hold the 2x4s in place. It's also going to give us a nice smooth edge for our plastic across the top so that it doesn't fall in between the 2x4s or rip. I then cut some 2x at a slant, and I'm attaching those to the 2x4s now. And this is going to be the support that our plastic can lay across. Now we're going to again cut plastic a little bit longer than this bed as well and drape it over. Make sure it covers both ends well. Alrighty, and then we're going to get our staple gun once again, and we're going to staple down this back side because this is the side I want to stay closed. And then I'm going to come across the top and put some staples in here just to make sure my plastic stays in place. Now let's see, let's get this all stretched out, and we're going to use our knife, and we're going to cut the length and cut off our excess here so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, now let's close up the ends. So I'm going to use my staple gun again, and I'm going to just staple these ends shut. And I'm going to cut the end off so that I create a flap. And that's how I can open it up and get access all the plants, and that's how I can close it. And I'm going to also use some of these drain tiles to help weigh it down. This is bed C. This is the last bed, and I'm using 1/2-inch PVC once again with 90-degree angles. I'm creating these little A-frames. And then I'll stick this in the dirt, just like this. And I only used, I think, 3 of these. Now I'm going to use the brackets again, like I used on bed A, to anchor these in place just so that they don't fall over or get blown over or the wind doesn't push them down. Now I had an extra piece of plastic on bed A, as you will remember, and it fits bed C perfectly. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to anchor this side of the bed down with staples again. And the reason I'm doing it on that side is because that's the side I get the most wind from. So I want to make sure it's nice and secure. I'm going to close up my ends, nice and neat. And now I can open up this bed as well and access my plants. Now the outdoor today was 74 degrees and it was full sun. I wanted to see how well they work, so I brought out my big thermometer. And sorry about the bad shots. It was hard to see because of the bright sun on my screen. But inside this bed, bed A, after sitting 10 minutes, it was 110 degrees. Bed B also sat for 10 minutes with the thermometer inside. And you can see I put those drain tiles on there to help hold it down, and they seem to be working really well for me. We had a little bit of wind yesterday, and they kept it closed. Bed B is at 110 degrees as well. So we're glad to see that. So 74 degrees to 110 degrees, that's a significant change. This is bed C, and bed C sat for 10 minutes, and bed C got to 106 degrees. Does anybody notice a little difference between the 3 beds? So in each bed, I've planted Brussels sprouts, lettuce, radishes, carrots, kohlrabi, as well as spinach. Okay guys, so the beds are planted, they're ready to start growing. I have everything the same place in each bed, the same amount. We're going to leave them closed for 7 days before we open them to see if anything comes up. We have rainy, cooler weather right now. I do plan on testing the temperature in them later today, and this is in day 2 after construction. And I'll let you know what that temperature is in a later post. In fact, I'll probably try to record temperatures as we move forward so we can kind of see what weather conditions have the effect on the temperature inside each bed. And I'll be posting that out to your teachers soon. Give me about a week to collect that data. And I'm going to follow this up. I recorded the seedlings that we planted in our pots we made. And I'm going to show you those here in a second as a closure to this video. Hope you guys are all staying safe and taking good care of yourselves. You're getting outside and enjoying some of this nice weather we've been seeing off and on. And you're keeping up with your studies. Remember, wash your hands, don't touch your face, and we'll see you real soon. So it's been a little over a week, and there are our bell peppers are up, and I believe there's a tomato peeking right in there, and the squash are doing fabulous. We have 1 gourd of our fancy gourds coming up, and this is our acorn squash and those giant pumpkins. Remember we had giant pumpkins? And look at the size of those leaves of the giant pumpkins. And the other thing I planted was okra, and it's coming up. It's getting really tall, and I have to watch because sometimes when it gets really tall like that really fast, it can break off really easy. So I've got to be really careful with these plants. But I've got a nice stand of okra here.